Okay, students, here we are on Thursday night. Excuse me. Here we are on Thursday night. Want to finish up chapter 22. Um, Before I get to the cases, I would just say this about the test. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a test on Monday morning, and that test will be due back to me on Tuesday night by 5 o'clock so I can grade them and get them back to you and send you out the answer key, and we can talk about them for a few minutes Wednesday before we go to the next chapter. So that's my plan. So, all right, case 6. McCain sold some food on credit, delivered the quantity. Several days later, not yet paid for, discovered Flagstaff was insolvent and had just filed a petition in bankruptcy. If you'll go back to page 575, that our sellers have some remedies when our buyer is in bankruptcy. If the goods have not yet been delivered, the seller can actually cancel the delivery of those goods and get those goods back. But here, as in when the goods have already been delivered and already in the possession of the buyer can, if they go back to the buyer within 10 days, they can get those goods back from the buyer. The problem with problem 6 is we don't know how many days has elapsed. It does have to be within 10 days of the receipt of the goods that they have to go back in and reclaim those goods. So you're under a very short time window. And so if you find yourself in that situation, you have to act quickly. Okay, case number 7. Case number 7 is a little complicated. What we have here is we have somebody that bought a supposedly new boat that was worth supposedly was worth $102,000, but they were willing to sell it for $80,000. In other words, a $42,000 discount or a $22,000 discount. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is we know the facts say that the boat was only worth 50% of its original value. So for our purposes, we're going to say that the original value was $80,000. 50% of that would be $40,000. Okay, so following me so far. So they got a $22,000 discount on the boat. Okay, and remember, the purpose of a contract is to give me the benefit of the bargain. So the benefit of the bargain, first of all, is a $22,000 discount. Well, if there is a $22,000 discount, well, let's try to do this calculation this way. If the original value that I had been promised as part of this contract was $102,000, and the value I actually got was only $40,000, then what I have here is I have a $62,000 in damages. Let me run that by you again. What I thought I was getting was a $102,000 boat. What I actually got was a $40,000 boat. That produces $62,000 in damages. If I then take the $80,000 that I originally paid for the boat, all right, let's go back here for just a second. I have $62,000 in damages. Well, I paid $80,000. If I paid $80,000 and I have $62,000 in damages, what I really should pay for the boat is $18,000. So we take the $80,000 that I actually paid for it, minus the $18,000 that I should have paid for my boat. That produces a refund now of $62,000. And so what we have here, we have a situation in which the seller of this boat ends up having more damages than he would have otherwise if it had been honest with our buyer right to begin with. Because our seller loses $22,000 right off the top by saying you're getting a $102,000 boat for $80,000. So here what our buyer is going to get is a $62,000 refund. Means they got this boat for $18,000. Probably a pretty good deal to get a boat that before it was sunk was worth $102,000, and now he's getting that same boat now for $18,000. And again, the good deal is as a result of our seller lying that this was a brand new boat when it had in fact been sunk. All right, that is case 7. Case 8. Case 8, what we have here is we have an individual that purchased a gun. Turned out that the gun was stolen. Our purchaser gets arrested. The dealer that he bought the gun from, and this is what I don't understand in this case. Why didn't our gun buyer just say to the police, "Hey, look, go talk to the guy I bought it from. I filled out all the right paperwork. I bought it from this gun dealer, from this pawn shop that sells guns. So go talk to him. He'll tell you that I bought it legitimately, and it's not my problem. It's the gun dealer's problem." Well, apparently some snafu happened and he was unable to do that. So he incurred about $8,000 in attorney's fees trying to clear his name. And all this is because of a breach of the implied warranty breach of the warranty of title. Gun dealer, anyone that sells goods warrants that he has good title to those goods. He breached that warranty of good title. Therefore, he's liable for the purchase price of the gun plus the $8,000 in consequential damages. All right, case 9. Case 9 is an interesting case because this person goes in and purchases a car. Purchases a car for the full sticker price of the car, $156,000. Well, it turns out because this is a rare automobile, that was a super good deal. That the minimum price they're selling them for is $250,000. In fact, the car dealership thinks it's worth about $450,000. Well, because he wouldn't agree to a upcharge of $300,000, they sold it to someone else. So now the question becomes, first of all, is he entitled to the car for $156,000? Yes, of course he is. He had a contract for that amount. And no amount of conniving on the part of the car dealership or second thinking on the part of the car dealership that, hey, we gave him too good of a deal on this car and we should have made a bunch more money on this car. No amount of that will negate the fact that he has a contract for the $156,000. Now, the question goes to the question, is he entitled to specific performance? Remember, we've talked about specific performance before, and specific performance is available when goods are rare or hard to acquire. And it appears that this is one of those goods that's rare or hard to acquire. And so Hoffman Ford really has two options here. One, well, I guess three options here. Hoffman Ford can, one, go back to the second person they sold it to and get it back from them. May not be an easy thing to do. And give it to Taylor. And that would be this specific performance, because this is a rare item, hard to acquire, unique, all the qualifications for specific performance. They could, Taylor could get specific performance on the contract if in fact the dealer can come up, can convince the second buyer to turn it over to him. They may not be able to do that. The second option would be for Taylor to go out and look around and find a replacement car. Remember, we call this cover. Find a replacement car, cover, and whatever the difference is between what Taylor had to pay for it and what the contract price is. So if Taylor had to pay $300,000 for it, Taylor now can sue Hoffman Ford now for the $150,000 price difference between what he had to cover, his cover price, and what his contract price was. The third option is that Taylor could go out and find that car. They may be able to get a better deal than what Taylor could. Maybe call in some favors. Maybe get it for a little less than the $300,000. And acquire that car and then sell it to Taylor then for the contract price of $156,000. All right. Let me just talk for just a minute about this next chapter. Chapter 31. Here's what I want you to concentrate on for right now in chapter 31. Is on page 812, there's 6 criteria to be a negotiable instrument. You need to know those 6 items cold. Okay? So if you would you look at on page 812, and think about what those 6 items are. And the second thing you need to concentrate on is what the 4 types of negotiable instruments are and how you can tell them apart. Number 1 negotiable instrument would be a draft. Number 2 would be a check. Number 3 would be a CD, a certificate of deposit. And the 4th one would be a promissory note. So focus on those, how you can tell them apart. And we'll then start on chapter 31 on probably next Friday. Because Monday, we won't have class so you can do your exam. Wednesday, we'll go over the exam. And then on Friday, we'll then start with chapter 31. All right, let me know if you have any questions, please. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the snow. 3 to 5 inches of snow is what I've been hearing. So enjoy the snow. I know I won't, but I did get my lawn mowed today. So talk to you later. Bye.